doubles battling. Not something I knew a whole lot about, and neither did Coach Shroom. I knew I was sending him in over his head, but I didn't have any other choice. Kyle was MIA, and I had to find out what the Vice Gambling Consortium was up to, and what they'd done with Kyle. His tactical team was mostly still active, including one guy he'd brought in after his investigation had begun. But a few had gone dark around the same time he did, so to give Coach Shroom the best chance possible, I brought in some replacements. A new heavy hitter and a few support units seemed like they'd work just fine. I just had to hope there'd be enough alongside the remains of the original team. And then I saw who he'd be up against. Joey Know-How. Of course he was here. He had been making waves ever since his play to take over Draft League City hadn't panned out. Thinking back, Coach Shroom handed him his first loss in that endeavor. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if Joey had put things in place to get him to the battle resort so he could exact some vengeance. From what Kyle had been able to tell me before we lost contact, Joey was once again undefeated so far. Hard to say if Coach Shroom could pull it off again. I guess only time would tell. Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to welcome you to week number 4, but my first battle of the SPL. Yes indeed, we are in the Shuckle Premier League for its 3rd season, which as you may or may not know is a VGC season. Now, let's get the admin out of the way. It's week 4, what am I doing here? And more to the point, why am I in a VGC league? So, the SPL, the Shuckle Premier League, put together by Shuckle King, Pokeaim, a few others in the admin roles there. They decided for this season they were going to do a VGC league, which is very cool. They had a bunch of people involved, some singles players, some renowned VGC players as well, who were like known on the circuit. One of those people, one of the singles competitors, was Kyle, someone who I'm a huge fan of. I love watching his content. I always follow what he's doing in Draft League. He's a great dude, he's very funny, and you should go check him out. Unfortunately, he has come up against some IRL stuff, and he has had to take a step back from Draft League and indeed the SPL this season. So Shuckle King approached me and asked me if I would like to take his spot, which is a chance I jumped at. You know, SK, Joey, everyone else who's involved in that decision-making process, thank you so much for having me on board. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm excited to do it. Despite the fact that, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Anyone who knows me will know I don't play VGC, like at all. The last time I even semi-seriously considered playing VGC was when Mega Revolution was a thing. So that's how out of the loop I am. But we are here to give it our best freaking go. So I'm briefly going to take you through the team. The team on the left, as you see on the screen, is the team I inherited from Kyle. Incineroar, Amoonguss, Primarina, Espathra, Oranguru that he just recently brought in, Serperior, Copperajah and Munchlax he'd also recently brought in, Iron Val, and Hydreigon. Now, Kyle and I have talked. He took me through his process. He took me through his vision for the team. I ran a bunch of tests of my own, saw what ones I liked and what I didn't quite gel with, and I made some changes. I got rid of Espathra, Serperior, Copperajah and Munchlax, and I decided to bring in Mamoswine, Noivern, Duraludon and Stonjourner. Now, they all have their niches in VGC and doubles from what I can see. Again, I'm no expert. I'm not going to go too far into what they can do, but I'm pretty happy with the changes that have been made to this team. So, this is where we stand. Week 4, we are taking over a team at 0-3. Expectations may not be high for us, but we're going to give it our best shot, and we are going to need a hell of a lot to go our way. So, let's get into this and see what we're up to this week. So, our first week in the SPL, and what a baptism of fire. We are going up against the one and only Joey, aka Pokeaim. His links down in the description below with everyone else in the league. Make sure you check him and them all out. I mean, you know Joey. If you're on this channel and you're not subbed to Joey, what are you doing with your life? Make sure you go and check him out. He is posting some of, if not the best, Pokemon content on YouTube right now. He is one of the best to ever do it. And I'm super stoked to be playing him. This is the second time we've ever played. Last time we played was in PPL. He was undefeated. We handed him his first loss of the season. This season, he's undefeated. Let's see if we can't hand in his first loss of the season. Gonna be tough. His team is Annihilate, Diancie, Deoxys-Speed, Bronzong, Manaphy, Mudsdale, Hydrapple, Sneasel, Furret, and Poltergeist. Is that Poltergeist? Yeah, it's Poltergeist, the little Sinister. A lot of really cool things on his team. He is tearing it up with Manaphy and DOS at the moment. He's got a lot of protection for his big hitters. He's got a lot of big hitters of his own that can go fast or slow. Manaphy is not something obviously we see a lot in VGC, but he is proving that it is a force to be reckoned with. And he's been supporting the likes of that and Dio really well. So, what are we bringing in our first VGC game? Well, it's going to start off with Amoonguss. Morel support. We're keeping the nickname from Kyle because it is the best Amoonguss nickname I've ever seen. Now, usually you see Amoonguss running the likes of Rage Powder Sport, all that good stuff. Joey will have counterplay to it. I'm fully aware of this. Amoonguss is quite good into him, and he will have something with, I'm sure, with the goggles. He could even be running Vital Spirit on the Ape, but, you know, we'll have to see about that. So we're running Assault Vest. Very mixed defensive, with enough special defense on that Sassy Nature to take multiple hits from the likes of the Manaphy, and even if we can Terra Water, the Deoxys-Speed in a pinch. Giga Drain, Pollen Puff, Stomping Tantrum, Foul Play. Foul Play looks pretty good into Joey, especially if he's trying to boost up with the Ape if he's not scarfed. Stomping Tantrum, pretty much just there for like a Terra Steel Manaphy that I could see coming here, or even a Terra Poison on the Ape. It'll also hit Diancie, various other things. Pollen Puff is good offensively and defensively to help keep my guys healthy, and Giga Drain, just natural to have on an Amoonguss, really. Supporting that, we have got a physically defensive Choice Specs Primarina, running the Liquid Voice with Moonblast, Hydro Pump, Hyper Voice, Dazzling Gleam. This could get tricky depending on how Joey chooses to use his Terastallization, but Therian Water is pretty good into him, and Primarina is one of the best to do that combination. We have a decent amount of special attack investment just to try and snag 2 hit KOs on those non-spread moves. But we do have some spread moves going on, and Mamoswine is making a debut. We are Focus Sash, Thick Fat Terra Grass Mamoswine here to try and better take on that very dangerous Manaphy and indeed the Hydrapple. Thick Fat will also help mitigate the likes of the Sneasel, things like that. Ice Beam coming in from the Manaphy, the Dio, you know. Earthquake, Icicle Crash, Knock Off and Protect. This is our first Protect user. And hopefully we can get this going with any one of 2 of our more supportive mons that we've got coming up in the back. One of those is going to be Oranguru. We have Mental Herb, very physically defensive Oranguru, but it's got some special bulk on there as well. Psychic, Foul Play, Instruct, and Protect. Once again, we have the Telepathy to get around Earthquake from Mamoswine, and if we can start instructing it to use that twice, that's going to be great. We've got our second Foul Play user, just to try and deal big damage to the Annihilate. The Dio, it's neutral on the Bronzong, and can try and get around some of that boosting maybe from the Mudsdale. Psychic is just going to be its best move to hit most of the things on Joey's team. That is one of the things that can try and support Mamoswine. The other one, and indeed the main one, is going to be, scrolling down my list, Covert Cloak Noivern. We have Frisk on there, super useful to find as many items as possible. Terra Steel with the Terra Blast, it's the only way pretty much we have to hit the Diancie, which I could see coming for this guy specifically. Hurricane and Shadow Ball are good neutral coverage, and we have the Tailwind, and that's the most important thing. You'll see like occasional little bits of speed creeping on my mons. Tailwind from Noivern is allowing the likes of Mamoswine and Primarina to outpace the Manaphy, which is super useful. Don't have to try and outpace the Sneasel. Neither mon overly fears Sneasel too much. We have the Covert Cloak on there because Noivern is a very, very reliable Tailwind setter. Joey might see that coming and try and lead with Fake Out to get around that, so we can Covert Cloak our way through, set up a Tailwind and try and do some big damage. Final member of our team is going to be the Violite Duraludon. Very specially defensive. Once again, I'm paranoid about Manaphy, but it's for good reason. Dragon Pulse, Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt Protect on there. Good neutral coverage across the board once again. Protect to get around the Earthquaking shenanigans from Mamoswine. So that is the team I'm going into this with. Now, normally if you know my channel, you will know that I'm a post-commer. I don't narrate my battles live very often, and this is going to be the case for today. I just wanted to sort of get myself into VGC battling before I started going live com. And I knew that there was going to be a lot of explanation at the beginning of this video, so that was going to be a longer thing. So this battle is going to be post-commed. All the rest of my SPL battles, I'm really hoping I'll be able to live com. It's a shorter format, so the video should be shorter in and of itself. There won't be as much dead air, which is something I always worry about with live comming, as well as just my own natural anxiety. But this is hopefully going to be the only one of the season that will be post-commed. I'm looking to live com the other 4 battles going forward. But with that being said, let's not put it off any longer. It is time to get some VGC going. So let's get over to the battle screen and see what Joey has decided to bring against us. So, Joey has decided to bring Hydrapple, Manaphy, Sneasel, Annihilate, Bronzong, and Deoxys-Speed. Terrifying stuff, obviously. I'm going to make my basic game plan lead of Noivern and Mamoswine. I'm going to be keeping Primarina and Duraludon in the back for this one. I know there's going to be some counterplay to the Amoonguss, so I want to try and scout out what that is as early as possible. So here we go with our first match of SPL Season 3 against Pokeaim and the LA Wakers. He is going to be leading off with the Manaphy and the Deoxys-Speed. I, of course, am going with Mamo and Noivern. Going to get that frisk off early game as we see pressure from the Noivern. And we're going to find out, pressure from the Deoxys, that it is Light Clay and a Mental Herb. So, that is a problem. That means screens, and with the short format of VGC, those screens are going to be there to stay for the duration probably, and he's going to get them up because Deoxys is just that quick. Now, seeing Light Clay, the play here every day was just to attack into the Deoxys. But I sort of panicked myself a little bit. I am always going to go for the Tailwind on the Noivern. I should have just knocked off with Mamo, but I do just go for the Protector Scout, even though the screen into the Tail Glow is pretty obvious. As you see, this is what's going to happen. The Protector's going to come in from the Mamoswine, but it's going to be for nothing because the Reflect goes up straight away from the Dio. We are going to get our Tailwind up, which is nice. It means the Manaphy is going to be the slowest thing on the field. But the Manaphy is just going to go for that Tail Glow. No reason for Joey not to do this. I couldn't taunt him out of going for it because of that Mental Herb. Now we're left in this position where there is a screen up and I haven't got any damage. What I should have done was gone for the knockoff, and I am going to go for it here, but it is pretty much a turn too late. Hurricane into Manaphy is going to be my best play from the Noivern, so that is what we're going to go for there. And we're going to go for a knockoff into the Dio and see how much we can do through a Reflect. So Hurricane is going to come in on the Manaphy. That's going to do just under half. What's really nice is we get the Confusion. Hopefully we can get some stuff going our way there. And we're going to go for a knockoff and do over half to the Dio, which is super nice. Going to get rid of that Light Clay, but in comes an Icy Wind. That is going to try and mitigate the Tailwind. It's not going to do anything to the Mamo, but it is going to crit the Noivern. That's unfortunate, but it really isn't going to matter a jot because the Manaphy is going to break through that Confusion. I'm going to go for Ice Beam. That's going to take out my Noivern. So First Blood, unfortunately, is going to go to Joey here. But we do have a Tailwind up, and we can bring in something fresh that isn't at -1 speed. And for me, that's going to be my Specs Primarina, and I can try and lock in on Dazzling Gleam and do some big damage. So, Primarina going to hit the field for the first time for me. It is looking like it should be Dazzle into Knock. The play really every day ought to be try and get rid of that Deoxys-Speed. But I also know that a Dazzling Gleam, even if I Terra, probably isn't going to take out the Manaphy, especially since that Deoxys-Speed should be able to get a light screen up all day of the week. So really, this is just about causing as much damage as I can to try and put everything on Joey's side into range of a subsequent Dazzling Gleam. So, light screen is going to go up for the Dio. That's unfortunate. That's going to mitigate what this guy Lagoon can do. In comes the Dazzle, and it's not going to take out either Mon. Fortunately for me, the Manaphy is going to hurt itself in Confusion, which is really nice, because I went for knockoff into the Manaphy slot, and it still doesn't KO, which is really unfortunate. I could have used a KO there. But it does mean that a Dazzling Gleam will be taking out the remainder of Joey's side, so that's what I'm going to go for with Prim. And this is a point where I am just going to protect with my Mamoswine just in case Joey wants to go for a last gasp couple of hits into it. Now, just to be absolutely certain of that potential double KO, I am going to Terrastallize my Primarina into the Fairy type, losing my Water type typing, obviously. But with any luck, if Prim can survive these hits, we will be able to get a double KO here. Mamoswine gonna go for that Protect, which turns out to be a really, really useful move, because the Deoxys is gonna go for Psycho Boost into me, and we're gonna mitigate that damage very nicely indeed. In is gonna come that Terra Fairy choice, Specs, Terra Blast, Dazzling Gleam. That is gonna score the double KO from the range of health that Joey's Mons were at. So down goes the Deoxys-Speed, which is nice. Down goes the Manaphy, which is nicer still. So now it is 3v2, which is cool. We're going to find out exactly what those last two Mons remaining in the back are for Joey. He's got every chance of going with a potential Trick Room mode, or just to go all out with offense. He is going to choose the latter. As you'll see, it's going to be Annihilate, and it's going to be the Sneasel. Now, the Annihilate, I should tell you, is Terra Poison. The Sneasel is Terra Stella, I believe. If he chooses to go with the Terra Poison on the Ape, my Dazzling Game is going to do absolutely nothing, especially through a light screen. So I'm going to try and get in ahead of the game, get my Primarina on out of there maybe, and go into Duraludon to reset what I can do with the Specs, and just keep trying to hit things with Mamoswine. So, as I say, I'm going to pull back my Primarina, reset the choice locked move, because I might need to be Hydro Pump later on down the line. In is going to come my Duraludon, as Joey is going to go for a Terrastalization of his own, and it is of course going to be that Annihilate, going with the very dangerous Terra Poison that Annihilate runs so well in both VGC and in singles combat. So, he's got that off. Iceman is going to go for the Fake Out, might as well stop me from getting any damage onto the Annihilate, who goes for Bulk Up. That is a problem. We don't get any damage off there. The switch into the flinch is very unfortunate. And right now, the thinking is that it has to be the Annihilate that takes all of the damage here. Prim in the back should be able to do decently enough against the Sneasel, so it really has to be just damage into the Annihilate, get as much as we can, at the risk of getting that Rage Fist going, but that might be a risk we have to take. So, knockoff from Iceman is going to get rid of Duraludon's Eviolite, unfortunately, and the Drain Punch is going to destroy my Mamoswine. That is going to go down without doing any more damage to Joey's team. Annihilate at full with a Bulk Up. Dragon Pulse is going to come in, and that is going to do nothing at all. There is still a light screen. It's looking like a specially defensive build on top of that. So, Prim is going to have to come in here and try and do as much damage as possible. Hydro Pump is going to have to be what we lock ourselves into. And at this point, it's just about trying possibly to mitigate differential. You know, I don't want to pray for crits, but at this point, it's kind of what we have to do into this Annihilate to try and see it off before it can just Rage Fist through the rest of my squad. So, Knockoff is going to come in and get rid of my Choice Specs. That is not going to help matters in any way, shape, or form. The Drain Punch is, of course, going to come in on Duraludon with no Eviolite. At +1, that is easily going to clean out Duraludon from there. The Annihilate is back up to full health, and it has to be focused on that. Like I say, Prim doesn't fear the Iceman all that much. We are going to go for the Hydro Pump, and it is going to do still nothing because the light screen was there. It's going to wear off this turn, but it is too little too late. I'm locked in. I have to go for Hydro Pump, but both of Joey's Mons are going to outspeed me. I am a defensive build, but realistically that is probably not going to save me, as we'll see another knockoff come in as the best move it has to go for. and then in comes that Rage Fist, which has been boosted a couple of times. He has a bulk up. That is going to clean out my Primarina from there. Down it goes, and we take a 2-0 loss in the first set of this match against Pokeaim. So I know I'm going to have to make some adjustments here, and I'm going to choose to do that off the bat. I still want to lead with Mamoswine as one of my best damage dealers, but instead of going with Noivern for Tailwind support straight up, I'm instead going to go with Oranguru, giving that guy a debut for me. We're going to have Noivern and Primarina in the back, benching Duraludon, and once again, not bringing that Amoonguss. Maybe a mistake, I guess only time will tell. So, here we go, round 2, everything to play for in this game against Joey. There he is, once more, he is going to make the same leads. It's going to be the Manaphy and the Deoxys-Speed, no reason for him to make any adjustments, as we go with Mamoswine and Oranguru. Now, here I've sort of learnt from my mistakes. This is all about getting big damage as early as possible. The Reflect is very likely to go up. I can see him just making the same plays as he did last time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But this time I am able to just go for Earthquake, get that spread damage where I can, and either Instruct or Foul Play into the Dio. I'm actually going to go for the latter and just try and get consistent damage on it and take it out as quick as I possibly can with Oranguru, something that Noivern was pretty much unable to do last time. So that's the sequence that I'm going to make. As you can see, selecting Foul Play into Selector itself, and very much anticipating for Joey to make the same plays as last time. And as you see, it is going to be that Reflect from the Deoxys-Speed, and it is going to be the Tail Glow from Manaphy. So no reason for him to make any adjustments and switch things up at this stage. Now, the Reflect is going to mitigate what I can do with Earthquake, but Telepathy is going to allow Oranguru to avoid it, and we do a good amount of damage. Foul Play going to come in and do a little chunk more. Now, it is looking like Foul Play is a bit of a roll to maybe take out the Dio from here. What I'm going to do is make the player Protect into Foul Play, stop them from just targeting down my Mamoswine if at all possible, and maybe look to take out the Dio and get myself a lead, as opposed to what happened last time where Joey took the lead very early on indeed. So that's going to be the sequence I make. As you can see, I'm very strongly considering Psychicking into the Manaphy, but I choose not to in the end. Going back to, do I Earthquake? Do I Protect? I don't know, I was second guessing myself a lot here, not being used to this format in the slightest. It was always going to be a difficult adjustment from singles combat, but I am just going to make that initial play, go for Protect, and go for Foul Play. So, Protect coming in from the Mamoswine, keep my sash intact for as long as possible, as in is going to come Light Screen from the Deoxys, going to get those screens up for as long as he can. It is going to be Scald, unfortunately, but we are specially defensive where Oranguru will take that hit at +3. Foul Play is actually going to come in and score a crit onto the Deoxys, so we get a little bit lucky once again here, but thankfully we are able to actually take a lead in this set, which is something we didn't do last time. Here it comes, the big guy, the threat, the thriller, the Annihilate is in. Now, learning from last time, this thing needs to take damage. With the screens up, there's not a whole lot I can do. Like, this is the format where you can't realistically stall out screens as easily as in singles. There's just not enough time. So what my play here is to do is to go for Earthquake, and then either Instruct or just try and get damage into the Thriller with Psychic. I am going to go Terra Grass on my Mamoswine this time, just in case the Scald wants to come in. We can try and mitigate that damage into Mamoswine. So, here comes the Terra. It is, as I say, Terra Grass. And if the Ice Beam is going to come in from the Dio, then we still have the Thick Fat to mitigate that just a little bit. So, here comes the Scald. That is unfortunately going to take out my Oranguru. That's why I didn't go for Instruct in the end. Just wanting to try and get better damage. As you'll see, there is no Terra. Joey knows better than Terra on a Mamoswine when he's Terra Poison, and he is going to go for that bulk up. So once again, we're in this position where Manaphy is set up, and now Annihilate is set up and has powered up its Rage Fist. So now, it becomes a case of speed. It becomes a case of I have to get Noivern in, and I have to set up a Tailwind, realistically speaking. We find that the safety goggles are indeed on the Annihilate, so he did have that Amoongus counterplay that we were kind of anticipating. I thought he might go Vital Spirit to save up the goggles to someone else with only one unique item per mon. You can't double up. But he has decided to go with the goggles so he can get the Defiant boosts if needed. But now it goes back to the original plan, Protect into Tailwind, because I am going to have to try and stall out a turn by doing that, and if Noivern goes down, then kind of so be it, it pains me to say. But the Tailwind is more important than the damage output through a light screen that Noivern can do. So, Protect's going to come in from my Mamoswine, and Protect is going to come in from Thriller as well. So, just in case I was going to go for a Hurricane, but we are going to get that Tailwind up, which is nice. At least now Mamoswine will be outspeeding everything, and in comes an Ice Beam from a Manaphy. Once upon a time in team building, I was Focus Sash on my Noivern. I thought Covert Cloak would be a better bring. Shockingly enough, that crit did not matter. I know, shocking. But now it is time for the Primarina, once again to hit the field. We do still have our Sash intact on Mamoswine, and we do have a Tailwind up, which is nice. We should be outspeeding both of Joey's Mons at the very least, and trying to get some big hits off. Unfortunately, I can't go for Earthquake because I don't have Protect on Primarina, so it's going to have to be flinches with Icicle Crash, probably into Hydro Pump, because this thing could very easily go Terra Poison here. And he knows that I can't go for Earthquake because he knows I'm Specs. So here is where Joey is going to Terra. He is going to go Terra Poison on the 8, knowing that I'm not going to go for Earthquake. He therefore fears the Fairy move onto non-Terradape far more than he fears the Earthquake onto Terradape. So a good bring on his part there. We are going to go for the Icicle Crash and we are going to miss. That's unfortunate. I was going for flinches. I kind of had to at this point because, as you see, Dazzling Gleam is just going to do the square root of absolutely nothing. In is going to come the +3 Energy Ball from Manaphy. That is going to one-shot Primarina from there. Not doing anything this round. Down it goes. And this is where the Rage Fist is going to come through from the Annihilate. And this is where Joey is finally going to find out that this is a Focus-Sashed Mamoswine. Now, we do have a turn of Tailwind left, so we are at least going to be able to get one more hit off. But the numbers game at this point is just too much to handle, and especially if he has that Sneasel in the back, it's just going to be able to fake out. Joey has no need to try and save anything here. I am going to go for the Earthquake as my best play to try and cause just some damage, and at least if I can take out the Manaphy, I'll be happy. So, Protect is going to come in from the Annihilate, getting rid of that last turn of Tailwind. We are going to go for the Earthquake. Of course, the Annihilate is protected and can't be hit, but it is going to come in on the Manaphy, and at the very least, we are going to take out the Manaphy, which is nice. It's caused havoc to my team, as it has done many teams before me, but unfortunately, the Tailwind is looking like it's going to be running out either now or anytime soon, but it is the Sneasel in the back. We know that it has Fake Outs. I could have stunted by going for Protect, knowing the Fake Out was coming, but realistically, there was no point. He can easily just Fake Out, and basically a win con for me here is him predicting my Protect and not going for Fake Out. But it's never going to be that easy. Joey is just going to go for the Fake Out. It's going to take out Mamoswine from that one hit point. Down it goes. We lose the second set and the game, and that is going to be the game. So yeah, unfortunate. We do take a loss in our first game of VGC combat. But you know, I'm kind of happy with how this went. You know, I'm not going to make the excuse by saying like I don't play VGC, because Joey is also a player who doesn't play a lot of VGC. So he's only really got those 3 weeks on me in terms of prep for Draft League VGC stuff. And perhaps maybe just a little more experience in all fields of Pokemon. And, you know, he's Joey. He is the consummate professional, and he's a very, very, very good player. But, you know what? We gave it our best. And for a first game of VGC, to at least, you know, get halfway there was something. You know, it wasn't just a complete 4-0-4-0 wash. We got 2 kills per game, which is a positive to take out of this. And this is going to be what this is all about. I'm here for a bit of fun to try a new format. And, you know, to try and learn a bit and to try and make progression. And draw positives from the losses when they inevitably come. So yeah, you know, we do take a loss. We take a 2-0 loss into a 2-0 loss. But, you know, we got some KOs. I don't think we did ourselves too many disservices. I misplayed right at the start, very obviously. But like I say, it is a learning curve, and we still have 4 more weeks to go to try and get ourselves at least some wins. But that is going to be it from this one. Remember, of course, links down in the description to Joey, aka Pokeaim, and everyone else in the league. Make sure you check them all out. Like, you know who Joey is. He is one of the best to ever do it. Always a pleasure to chat with him, like we did after the battle, and to get to battle him. A pleasure and an honor to do so. And once again, Joey, of course, was part of the decision-making process, I'm sure, that invited me along in the first place. So to you, Joey, thank you so much once again for inviting me along to be part of the SPL, along with everyone else who did so. But we're 0-4, but we're here for a bit of fun and to learn some stuff. So let's just keep our heads high and move on to the next week, where we are going to be taking on Tone, another fantastic Draft League player who I'm very excited to play. We actually did battle once in singles several years ago that neither of us remember. But it's going to be a laugh, it's going to be fun, so hopefully look forward to that next week. But I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for far too long, so my final thank you to you all for watching, and I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.